Hi there, welcome back to the weird side of YouTube. This is Storyteller, the series in which I tell you some stories about my life. Sometimes they're scary, sometimes they're weird, but all the time they are fun. Today's video is going to be about horror stories I had when I worked at a gas station on third shift. There is a few. One of them is not going to be about that. One of them is going to be about when I used to walk around my hometown at night because I'm psycho. We're going to start with that one. So, this is kind of a short story, so I'm going to start with that one. As you guys know, when I was depressed and suicidal and, like, locked up in my room, the only freedom I had was when I used to walk around at night. So, when I snuck out of the house. So, one night when I was walking to the church like I always did, instead I took a left and walked into town. It took me about an hour to get there, but it was worth it. Now, my hometown of Gaffney, the actual town part is a little strange. It's made up of like these buildings with like 4 streets going through them. 4 lines of buildings, and then at the top there's a train track. The 4 lines of buildings are mostly empty. Some of them have furniture stores, others have like tax places in them, but for the most part, empty as hell. One of these places has this window door, it's glass, you can see through it, that goes right up to a stairwell that goes up to a flat wall. Me and my friends used to make up horror stories about that, like it was a portal to another dimension or something. None of us ever found out what it was, but that's still very strange to me. That's not what the story's about. So I was walking through the town at night. No one's there, obviously, because it's like 2 in the morning. There is one person. It's a meth head. And I say that with full certainty because of how they looked. They had the sores all over their face. They were doing this, which is a classic meth thing to do. But they were following me. And normally I would think, oh, he's gonna rob me, or he's gonna ask for, like, money or something, because that's what they genuinely fucking do. Either they ask for money or they fucking take it. He doesn't. So I start just walking, like walking faster, going deeper into the town. I end up passing by the door with the window, the glass door with the stairwell that leads to nothing, and the guy stops there and just stares into it. And I turn around because I'm like, what? Is he gonna go in there? Like, does he have a key or something? Because the door's always locked. Me and my friends have tried to open it. I turn around and he just goes, just smiling at me. The biggest kid on Christmas smile, shit-eating grin you've ever seen in your life. And I am terrified. So I cut a corner through an alleyway and go back down the other way. I don't know how he did this. I don't know if it was the same one. It sure as hell looked like it. I think they were wearing the same clothes. He was sitting on a bench on the other street adjacent. And separated by 2 lines of buildings, so like I don't know how he did that, but and he was just smiling, and by this point I was horrified, so I just sped up and ran past him. He didn't move, he didn't do anything but watch me while I walked away, or ran away, smiling, and I ran all the way home, and I never walked into the city again at night. No. But a lot of you wanted that meth-head story. That was the meth-head story. And another reason why I don't want to hang out with people that do drugs. Their energy is just very strange, almost zombie-like. I don't like it. So now we're going to get started on a couple of stories from when I worked at the gas station. The first one... I don't know what I'm going to call it. I probably won't, because any title I think of is vulgar and disgusting. So there's this very large man that comes in. This is about 3 in the morning. I was 23, 24 at the time when I was working at the gas station. I dropped out of college. I was miserable, didn't wanted to die basically again, because my boyfriend was cheating on me. All kinds of stuff. But there was this man that came in. I only saw him once. He came in at like 3 in the morning. My shift was from 9 to 6 a.m. Came in at like 3 in the morning. I could see him through the windows just wobbling around outside. I get a lot of homeless hobos all the time that are like not right, so I was like, okay, it's another one of these. He's the only person in the parking lot, only person in the building besides me. He goes up to the window, pulls out his cock, and pisses all over the window, just smiling at me, with waving his fat cock around for me to see. I don't know what to do other than laugh at him. So, when he sees me laughing and like not running away in fear, I guess that excited him. And he comes inside and he's like, I'm not kidding. He's like, I'll suck you for $1. I'm like, what? Excuse me? He's like, I'll suck your dick. I'll suck it for $1. I'm like, no, I'm good. You need to leave. So he pulls out his dick again and he's like, you want to suck me? I'm like, no. I'm good. I'm gonna call the police if you don't go. And so, no, don't do that, don't do that. I'm just trying to make some money. I'm like, if you leave me alone, I'll give you a 20. He's like, for real? I'm like, yes, I will give you a 20. Just leave. So I gave him a 20 and he left. And I still to this day am terrified of that man. He was so creepy because his eyes were so huge. I'll suck your dick for $1. Like, he's just... You can tell that he's on something, and whatever he's on makes him not give a shit about who he's talking to and what he's talking about. But he could have killed a guy and not blinked. Like, that's how out of it he looked. But I gave him a 20, and he left. Thank God. I never saw him again. Maybe he died, I don't know. Maybe he OD'd. But I call that story the homeless pisser, which is why I didn't want to name this video that, because it's quite vulgar. The entire story is vulgar. Another one of my horror stories from the gas station is very normal looking guy wearing a jean jacket, much like this one, had a bunch of band, what are they called, patches on them? I want to try to get patches on mine. But he had a bunch of really cool bands. I complimented one of them. I think it was either Tool or Perfect Circle. And he just looks at me while he's getting like a drink or something. And he's like, you do LSD? And I'm like, what? He's like, I got some. I'm on it right now. And this is like 2 in the morning again. And I'm like, no, I'm scared of that. And he's like, if you do a little bit, it's not going to do much. It'll just make you see colors and shit. He's like, it's really pretty. Are you sure you don't want to see it? I'm like, I'm good. I don't want anything to do with that. I go on this spiel about how I'm a control freak and how I don't want to lose control of myself and blah, 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 blah. And he's like, okay, whatever, but I'm going to give you my number, and if you ever want to experiment, I can give you a good time. Okay, so he gives me his number, and as soon as he leaves, I throw it away because I don't even want anything to do with that. But very normal looking guy, just as messed up as the other dude. Maybe not just as messed up, he didn't whip out his dick, but you know what I mean. Another story is about this older woman. I think it was about 1 or 2 in the morning, as usual. That's when all the freaks come out. You can tell she was from the 80s. She had her hair feathered, blonde. She had her makeup done like it was still 1989. She's wearing some mom jeans and like a tank top. But she looked, age-wise, like she was like my grandmother's age, which was like back in the 60s and 70s. But apparently she was like a lot lizard, and she was asking me about truckers and if truckers ever came to my gas station. I'm like, rarely, because this isn't really like a truck stop. Sorry guys, my camera died, so I'm gonna have to finish up the story like this. As I was saying, this one was older. She dressed like she was from the 80s. She was asking me about truckers, asking if they ever stopped there. I told her that this wasn't a truck stop, it was just a regular gas station, but sometimes they did. And she was like, do you mind if I wait here in case one does? And I'm like, why? Do you need a ride somewhere? I can call you an Uber. Well, back then it was just a cab. I had a number for the cab company on next to my phone for people that need rides. She's like, no, I just want some company. Maybe you want some company? And I'm like, you can hang out here if you want to, if you're just lonely. I have some friends that come over sometimes and just hang out with me. Long story short, she was a prostitute. She wanted me to fuck her for money. I told her I was into men. She's like, I have a friend if you want us to, like, share the money and you can share us. He's a boy. And I'm like, I'm good. She's like, are you sure? I can just call him. He's a big black guy. He's got a big dick. I'm like, I'm fine. If you don't stop, I'm going to have to call the police. So she finally left. She literally walked down the street. I don't know where the fuck she went, but she left. And that's the end of the story. I'm sorry I had to rush it because my battery kept dying, but if you guys like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, but honestly, I appreciate just you watching it. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.